All right, cool. Sorry about that. Yeah, it was like the most. Yes, I had basically created a tape delay.
Yeah.
There was no
intentional tape delay.
Yeah. I programmed it in there and I forgot that I did basically.
So yeah, when you were telling me about the campaign.
So yeah, it's to bring it up to speed. Highly inspired by Dark Sun and Conan the Barbarian. This whole environment needs a couple of old-timey pipes, but the ones with bubbles.
That would be great.
Are you a pipe smoker?
I would. I have.
Yeah.
I just don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, bubble pipes.
I suggested, and I suggested to my to Megan. I was like, I feel like I could be a pipe guy. And she said, 1, that is the most pretentious thing you've ever said to me.
Yeah.
2,
yeah.
You will get mouth cancer. And I was like, that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah. Just don't make it a habit. Make it recreational.
Yeah, exactly.
Says everyone before they have an addiction.
Right, yeah. I do remember some basement vampire games where everybody was smoking, and I was like, I cannot play in this group anymore. Like, I just can't breathe, guys. So highly inspired by Dark Sun and Conan the Barbarian, but with the full disclosure that I'm not intimately familiar with either setting. So we're losing like the halfling apocalypse of Dark Sun and stuff like that. Yeah. It's just what I'm saying is that it is a classical era technology level. So like bronze weapons are sort of the apex of the tech of steel is limited. Shitty equipment would be like bone weapons. Yeah. Another thing I'm looking into is like actual like weapon and armor degradation. I don't want to make this game Hackmaster, where everybody's like, so if we can figure out a way to make it like, you critically failed and your weapon broke because it was bone, and that wouldn't happen if it was steel, maybe that's what it is. Yeah. And it's low magic. Now, I hate the idea of limiting player agency and hand waving a big chunk of the book away and saying you can play rogues and fighters. That would be a shitty thing to do as a DM.
Because at that point, you're almost going back to like original. Because I mean, they had the magic casters, of course. Yep. But a lot of the way that was played, like back in the THAC0 days, was dungeon crawling was more, so much less murder hobo, than it was like you're not like today. You see a lot more D&D like superheroes, things like that superhero-esque kind of vibe to them, like high magic kind of setting. Yeah. Back then, like you were literally a survivor. You were just like most people were just like some dude who just like a soldier, a typical soldier, or something like that.
So it's so funny because like I never put my finger on it, but like superheroes, that is exactly the game I don't want to run, a game about superheroes. Yeah. And I think that doesn't mean that there aren't moments of superheroics.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like I don't know, like a lot of things, like for me as a player, you need to have. For me to be excited as a player, I need the successes to feel really earned and the risks involved to feel very authentic, real, and omnipresent. And I think that you can make your setting as threatening looking as you want. If the players aren't losing 80% of the time, it won't actually be that. It won't actually feel that way.
Yeah, and I feel like because
super hobos.
Mostly, like, as the, you take, like, your character, for example, as a player character, you could very easily just say, like, I cast, Thunderwave, like, roll the dice, there it is. Right. It's another to actually go out there, or go out and RP it out.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to figure out other ways to make it happen more so than just rolling the dice and, like, doing the math to see how much damage you do and whatnot. So, like, I don't know. Your player pulls out a piece of thinly woven cloth and rubs it against his knee and lightly touches the orc on the nose and shocks him, thundershock, like that's the way they cast that spell. Like that makes it more interesting not only for you, the rest of the party, but for the DM and like kind of inspires people to take their gameplay up to another level, which helps build the story.
Yeah, so
that's what it's really all about.
So the way that I feel like I'm achieving a low magic campaign, not no magic. I'm not restricting player choices at all.
Yeah.
As far as playing casters or whatever, that's fine. What I have created is a background and a setting where magic use is highly distrusted.
Yeah.
and for a mechanical reason. And the way that I did that, or the way that I'm doing that, and I'll be revealing the real rules for this in time for next week, although I don't think that the players will have access to these rules anytime in the near future, is that I've created a system that I call strategic spellcasting, which is, strategic spellcasting or creative ritual casting. I haven't really settled on a rule, but I think about it in strategic terms because, like, one of the things you look at the spell list, well, what if I wanted to do some, like, Old Testament shit and lay waste to a city? That's not in there. But if that was in there, people would be terrified of wizards.
Yes.
And then you would have by de facto, people would be so distrustful that you would have a kind of a low magic setting. And that's what I came up with this. Well, it sort of borrows a little bit from Mage, The Awakening. And I've been told Ars Magica, I haven't really played Ars Magica, but where, like, I've got a ritual table. You figure out a desired, this guy actually has dice tattooed up and down his arm.
Yeah, I just got those not too long ago.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to get the rest of them too. I think it was out of the player's handbook too. The design was like the
little kobold back there. Is that a kobold?
Little goblin, like hiding behind the dice and whatnot. Yeah.
So the way the table works is that you will describe a ritual. A person with the feat to do this would describe a desired outcome.
Yeah.
I want to drown the city of Verona under an unusually high tide that lasts for a month and a day. Oh, that's huge. So then we decode that. Like, well, what is that? Well, that's this spell, basically, but expanded to be this big.
Yeah. And
you want to cast it from how far away? And you want it to last for how long? What's the duration?
And you plan on giving your players these powers?
Wait. Because what happens is you end up, you run that through a matrix where it's like, oh, that's a 33 level spell.
Yeah.
Okay, it's way beyond the scope of godlike powers. Okay. You are a spellcaster with access to 4 levels of spellcasting. Yeah. So you now need to develop a ritual that will counteract that spell level back down to your ability to cast. So it might be like, well, you need to sacrifice an intelligent human. That'll knock 2 spell levels off of it. Yeah. You need to make a pact with a demon. You need to have 150 cultists chanting for a month. If it's one spell, like conditional casting, like, well, you can only, if you design a ritual that would only work once in a century, like on the first new moon of an aeon or something like that. That drops at a spell level, and so on until you bring it down to your spell level. So, you have to destroy a 100,000 gold value diamond in the process of the casting. So now you've got a situation where it will take you a year to cast this spell.
Get it all done.
And you need to have enormous resources.
Yeah.
And so it's a situation where the players could interrupt it if it's an NPC doing this.
Yeah.
Or an NPC could interrupt it, So it creates, I think it's I wish Greg was my dad. How do you know I'm not, man?
Listen, Greg, how long have we actually known each other? For what, 11?
More than that, because high school. We knew each other in high school.
We did know each other? Oh, that's right.
We went to different high schools. Like, we weren't tight, but...
I feel like Greg has always been the life of the party.
Ooh.
Like, to the point where, like, how to drink is not. It's like, yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just from a drinking aspect, because I feel like that wasn't really a big thing, but the science of it, which is why I feel like this plays into so well to your character, like your personal character, like D&D and like world building and stuff like that. Because I remember there were 2 different times where you ran a game, like way back, like when we were, I don't know.
Yeah.
And both times I couldn't get into the game for scheduling reasons or whatnot. Like I remember everybody talking about like you have to get into a Greg game because they're just so in depth. Like
this is very stagey.
Like,
I did not know he was going to come over here and just shower me with ridiculous praise.
No, it's not ridiculous praise. This is just straight facts, man. So don't take it to the ego, okay?
Well,
I fully expected like to come here and have like the smoke machines and like fog going with you in like a red robe and like, the low lights.
Yeah, I used to do this shit. We definitely.
So I'm not far off.
Well, yeah. like I think the first. This is sound funny, right? I guess the first game I DM'd, because Mike was running. Mike introduced me to AD&D.
Yeah.
And it was a Dark Suns campaign, and I was playing a Thry-Kreen. Because he said, pick one of these characters. Like, they were ready-made characters. I was like, I'll take the Thry-Kreen dude. And then I was really into it, and I was like, oh, man, I want to do this. But, like, Mike was running D&D, and I didn't really want to, like, steal the D&D thing. So I picked up a role-playing book.
Yeah.
I got Wraith, the Oblivion.
Man, yes.
So the first game I ran was Wraith, and I ran it very wrong. There's no question. Wraith is like, if you know, like, the Wraith rules are very difficult to do right, and like I just picked up because I was like, I only need one book. That's great.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, one book. Let's do it. It's like a really wacky game to begin with, but I just remember like reading like just like two races where I was like, oh man, you should get because White Wolf in those days would be like, you should light some candles, you should put some music on. So like that, like we ran that game like we were having
LARPy.
a seance.
It was very, very LARPy because I feel like I feel like White Wolf was originally supposed to be like geared more towards like the LARPers, and then it kind of went like RPG from there.
I mean, I
don't know the actual history of it. So
I don't know either, but
for it.
I feel like
I always got that vibe.
Yeah, no, and I know people who were longtime White Wolf players who would tell you that the Mind's Eye Theater rules, that was the real rules.
That was it. Yeah,
those were the real rules. That's the way that the people who wrote the game intended it to be played,
Yeah.
and then they like wrote the tabletop rules as an adjunct, and of course one took over the other. But why don't we make this fucking character of yours?
Let's do it. I'm excited about this because the last time I rolled a monk was in 3.5.
Okay.
So that was forever ago.
So you're playing a monk.
I've always wanted to. I've been interested when 5th edition. I was interested in finding like some sort of brawler type class, like a fighter who's not specifically like sword and board.
Oh yeah.
Kind of fighter. And then there's the monk class always comes with the caveat of being like from a monastery, very martial arty.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of it, if you role play it the right way, or if you just twist the rules flavor and as far as like flavor goes, it's easy just to have him like a tavern brawler.
Sure.
Like simple things like stunning strike could just be a chop to the neck.
Right. A student of the sweet sciences.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like the channel of the chi like the whole time. So I think especially for this game, making some sort of just straight up fighter, a wrestler, like think
a luchador.
Like my initial thought on the concept was like almost like MMA, but less bro-y and more like just straight up tavern brawler.
Yeah.
Somebody who's just been in a lot of fights and is really good with his fists.
You're a savant. Now, one of the things we're going to run into, and we'll figure this out as we go for flavor, but like if I'm not mistaken, like the monk class does have to choose
the paths,
like a house or something to be in. Yeah, like a path. And so we'll figure that out.
So,
is it possible all my notes are here? I might have notes here.
That's the thing, like, even with the Masonic traditions, like, looking through a lot of them, like, the way of the open hand is pretty much set up for something like this. Because once you get into, like, the way of the four elements and the way of the shadow, that's where you get into more, like, the mystical and, like, the magical and, like, things like that. But, I mean...
It's pretty easy to explain things as well. So I should say, too, that, like, and people who have the overlay up right now, I'll tell you what else is in the party, even though... Much like Matt Colville, two things that Matt have come up now that make me think about the Colville thing. One, just to bring he's like, I would never ever worry about party balance. I think that players should make the player they want to, the character they want to make.
Yes, and I feel like it's up to the DM to make it all work. Or a lot of it is like, okay, like you have these players who want to play these characters, like they're interested in playing these characters. They're excited about the characters that they made. They might not fit in well together. Like you might have. 4 fighters, straight up fighters, and I feel like it's also up to the DM to really make it work for greater good of the story itself.
Sorry, I just want to make sure I am clear on who else is in the party. But we do have casters in the party, and actually another monk, but he's from a monastery.
Nice.
So it might actually be really fun to see your characters interact.
This is the thing too. Like I love the idea of the low magic concept. I feel like it ties into like I said before, like a lot more of the RP and like figuring out how to make your spells seem less, fireball mysteriously coming out of your hand compared to causing like an explosion, something nearby to your target.
So we do. Okay, so here's what's in the party right now, and I just want to make clear too that like how this is. We have a monk, a fighter, a rogue, and a warlock.
Yeah.
Aleth the warlock, and she is Ari knows that he has to play this character kind of stealthily, and has thus far not done so. So, I mean, this may be a character. It's very possible this is a character who's not long for this world. Like, this character may just get killed, and that could happen. But, like, in the first session, so the game, and this is where we're going to write you in. It makes it very easy. The game is built around all of the players have to come up with a reason, on your own. We'll figure it out later. It doesn't even have to be now. How you got sold into slavery. And the player party began in their first day chained up on a 30-person chain gang in a copper mine where they will live and work underground for the rest of their lives. And someone who's an older person on the chain pulls them aside in a moment and whispers, like, "We are breaking out tomorrow. I hope we don't have to kill you." Like, we've been working on this for months, and they just threw some new people on our chain. And so the first session was just them escaping the mine. And there was a group of characters from a tribe far to the north. And I think I talked to you about them. I'd taken strong inspiration from that movie, The Eagle, where I assume they're Welsh, but they were like some Pictish or Welsh tribes people in that movie who were like are covered in like white drying mud.
And they got like the bone.
They had like a lot of bone fish thing. They were very scary, like those guys basically. But we called them fish people because locally they don't speak the language, and everybody just knows them as fisher people from wet places up north.
We're talking about fishermen, not actual.
No, not fish people. No, they're not Kotoa. They're like like. But in an ancient world like that, I'm trying to take a lot from classical mythology and classical understandings of the world, and so like when you talk about like the invasion of the sea peoples, like that's a huge historic event, like, and that's all everybody's talking about, the sea people. Like that's what Pliny the Elder is like. They talk about like there's fucking people from the water. We don't know what the hell they were. Were they human? I don't know. Like, or Achilles who had Myrmidon, right? Which like mermen. Like apparently he stormed the beaches with mermen, like, Marines, fighters who come out of boats is what it means. But like somehow everybody around perceives that as being like, that's something I've never seen before. That's some weird shit.
It's interesting too. It's.
So yeah, I try to. I'm sorry not to cut you off, but I would phrase sometimes the setting in phrases that your character would understand. So they're the fish people. These are the fish people. And so they don't speak the language, and in order to communicate to them, Alith telepathically entered one of their minds to explain like what we needed them to do.
The fishermen don't.
The fish people, the fishermen. Gotcha. They were not. They were linguistically limited. That doesn't mean that not all. We can fix that. That's not a big deal. If you want to take one of those characters,
like I'll play a Kenku if you want. We'll just do mimicry, do the whole thing. But
Kenku, that's true. There are probably pretty limited numbers of Kenku in this setting.
Kenku is one of my favorite races to play. Like nothing more fun than like a Kenku trying to tell a ghost story, then realizing that like nobody can understand his cause and like. And it's just him like under a torch, and everyone's just like, "What the hell is this doing?" Yeah, it's fun.
So he entered their minds, and this is where it explains the setting where magic is terrifying, and it caused the fear effect. Like it's like that's not part of the spell. A lot of people in the chat were like, "Whoa, that is acting like a very high level spell," and I was like, "Yes, it is." The person just became paralyzed with horror, and the whole group of them immediately were turned against them. It worked because they were also afraid, and it got everybody in line. But so that's that was like honestly the big event that happened was that, and then everything else went pretty much according to plan. The breakout, well, that was it. So we leave with everybody at the mouth of this mine, realizing that this is the mouth of a mine in a complex of mines. There are mines everywhere here. It's a big operation. And
so they were out, sunlight and all.
They've left. Gotcha. They're at the door, and then there are 30 of them. They all survived. Are going to go their separate ways. Maybe we don't want to all travel together and look like we all escaped from a mine together. Hey, we're going to go back to our people in the west. We're going to go back to our tribe in the north. Everybody's trying to escape, and the party, who really had no reason not to, kind of pull together. Come up with there's a large city-state to the north where slavery is illegal. We should make our way there. Illegal.
Gotcha.
We should make our way there.
Yeah.
Not that slavery is like that's something we're going to expose, and like the area is largely lawless. It's not like there are cops everywhere or anything like that. It's there's limited influence from an Eastern empire that is across the mountains. And that would be, and otherwise it's pockets of civilization, small cities.
This is like personal morality, communal morality.
Yeah, I mean, much in the same way that like when conquering armies came through, you switched sides.
It's like, what else am I gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. You're a peasant, and like you burn my crops, take my crops, do it. But like, I guess we're your guys now. You know, people had very. Unless you had an invested reason to be a member of that community, like the nobility, people had very fluid allegiances. They had no reason to die for that shit. Cause the warlock used a sling and roll deception to make people think Eldritch Blast was a shot from the sling. That's an interesting idea. I feel like, I know how to do that in 3.5.
It's a good way to flavor it. Yeah,
like in 3.5, that would be... you would need some kind of still spell feat, I think, or
yes,
right, or would it be not still, but there's like a way to do it basically kind of invisibly.
In 3.5,
wasn't there?
I think it was a still.
It would be still be without words or without hands, without mundrus. It's an interesting question. It's not so bad. I like that. So, but you want to play a monk?
Yeah, I think it would be cool because especially if we're talking about the fish people. You're
gonna take over one of them?
The fish people. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, that's our term.
God.
I think it would be cool to have
we could flesh them out.
I think it would be cool to have him be a sailor, like one of those rough and grizzled looking guys who's just been from ship to ship working, whether it be in the trades. I mean, we can flesh all the fine details out. But working on the ships and then going from town to town and just, he goes from the tavern to the ship, tavern to the ship kind of deal. Yeah. And eventually
almost just a Viking at that point. Maybe.
What? Yeah, kind of like that. Because I was envisioning him to look similar to like what World of Warcraft's Kilterrans. The base. Yeah, it's from the Battles of Azeroth.
How do you spell Kilterran?
AUL.
AUL, Cole.
Terrans, T-I.
Cool Terrans.
Terrans?
Cool Terrans. Image of these guys, I don't know what they look like.
No, just do Kilterran men, whatever. That should come up with some Google images or whatnot. But yeah, like a...
they're big fellows.
Yeah, like a tall, stocky dude who, spent most of his life on the high seas. And I was thinking more or less like...
Weirdly hairless.
Right. Are you looking at half naked?
Well...
Just a list of naked Kilterrans.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, like that's a Kilterran. All right, yeah. Okay.
Can you imagine like a shipping vessel getting hit by like a slaver ship, getting held captive?
Yeah, that would work.
That way,
that would work.
Sold or just traded into the copper mines. However you wanna make that work.
Sure. Yeah. No, that works. That's fine. All right, let's do it. We're not going to be able to do this digitally here now. Guys, yeah.
Oh, Greg, I wanted to ask you, can I give him a ridiculous last name, one that he likes to keep quiet, for like humor factor?
What would be his name?
Like if I call him I want to name him Calrick. Calrick Dippins.
Calrick Dippins.
But it's one that seems to be like, he'll never say his last name out loud, and if anybody ever finds out about it, if anybody says it out loud, he gets real uptight about it.
The one thing I would say to that, though, is that realistically, cultural, yes, but nobody else is going to get that joke because they don't speak. That's whatever
sounds silly.
Whatever's silly about it is silly in your native tongue. So, like, it might be. I think that's even funnier. It's like you're very embarrassed about it. Everybody's like, "What?"
Like what? Yeah.
Don't use my name. People just like you're an outsider. People would assume that that's a feature of your tribe, and then if we ever meet others, they would be like, "No, it's just that asshole.
It's just that guy." Yeah,
he's weird.
It's like how everybody thinks like the British accent is sexy, or like the Australian accent is sexy.
Yes,
but when you go to Australia, when an Australian goes to Australia, they sound like everybody else, so it's no longer sexy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right. Let's do straight
like they don't have Mexican food in Mexico. Can't go out for.
What do you mean? What?
Well, you can't go out to the Mexican restaurant in Mexico. You just go to the restaurant.
Just go to the restaurant. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, they have taco stands all over the place. Right?
But you know.
You're putting a lot of trust in the system at that point.
No, I'm just saying that, like, it's just, it wouldn't say, like, it wouldn't be.
The Mexican restaurant.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Fine Mexican dining. Like, I don't think so.
I feel like maybe
it's some source.
Wait. We have American diners here.
Yeah.
So are we, like, the only country that has, like, their own food branded?
What? No. Maybe. Well, I think that...
like, you don't go to Italy and look for an Italian restaurant. Like, there's no, like, Italian restaurant.
Yeah, you don't go to Little Italy in Italy.
American diner.
That's true. I just think that that's different, though, because that's it's a nostalgia thing.
Guess.
Because all those places, those Americana diners, there's one I'm thinking of that's kind of local here, that are like, you know, like, we still got the old jukebox and, like, the neon things and the milkshakes.
Kind of
yeah, I think that's less about, that's more about recreating the 50s than it is about a kind of food.
All right, let's get back to D&D.
American diners, those are Greek.
Greek? Yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of Greeks that own the diners, right?
Someone wants to know, does anybody know where he streams his sessions? You're literally watching my stream. What are you talking about? Man, Slim, you gotta, come on now. Yeah, we're gonna roll 46. No, this guy is joining the game. So
yes,
that camera angle is not good. I don't like that. There's a lot of negative space over there. Did we switch cameras? Did I have a fat finger here? It's better. So it's funny. I think somebody pointed out how snazzily dressed you were, and it looks like you're wearing a blazer, but that's actually just a cardigan.
Oh my god! Does somebody think I'm wearing a blazer?
I don't know. I'm just looking on camera. Like, it looks like you're wearing like a jacket with like possibly a very 80s Nehru collar.
No, but actually, yeah.
It's a cardigan sweater.
French. It is French because my family and I went to right. My family and I went over to Europe this past summer, and I of course went with no long sleeves. So when we got there, and it was like the coldest week of the summer, like it was freezing.
They needed to buy that.
So I needed to buy something. So I literally went into an H&M in Paris and bought the first thing that I could find. But I mean, do I get like street cred for it being from Paris?
Possibly on the street, but this is Twitch.
I'll leave it up to you guys then.
You failed to bring a long sleeve shirt, man. My wife and I went to London in October. She failed to pack a sweater.
So you had to buy one, right?
No, she stole mine.
So you had to buy one, right?
You cannot buy a London. I cannot buy a sweater in London.
No.
Have you tried to do that? Have you been? You know they use the pound.
Yes.
Yeah, man. You go to like a department store in London to buy a sweater, and I would need a mortgage.
Well, what about the street corners? You could just they have all those little shops with all the knickknacks and stuff. They have the iHeart, London.
It didn't. No. I know exactly. I think I know exactly
like that tourist, though?
That's true. Yeah, no, she didn't have. She was not inspired. She had my sweater at that point. The problem was solved. So.
Gotcha. All right, so let's do this.
That's true. Jumpers. They wear jumpers over there. So to the UK, a jumper here is a dress. A girl would wear, like, what's her name wears a jumper, I think. Dorothy.
Yes.
From Wizard of Oz. I think that kind of dress is called a jumper, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, my favorite is trousers and underwear. Like, they have a whole big thing about that, too.
Wait, what?
Trousers. Underwear. These pants. Your pants.
Pants.
We call them pants.
Yes.
Their pants are underpants.
Oh.
So like your boxers,
or
like the tighty whities. When you say like, oh, I gotta go get my pair, like I gotta go get a pair of pants. You're like going underwear shopping.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean?
Not knickers.
Knickers.
Knickers are for ladies only, or
I don't know.
Does a fellow wear knickers? UK, if you're here.
UK,
let me know.
And let's not talk about the fanny pack. You guys can look that one up because that's a lot of fun too.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So
fanny means something very different.
How do you wanna do
46, drop the lowest.
Drop the lowest.
And do we have a pen and do you have a pencil? I have some.
I got a pencil.
I have some paper here.
I'm gonna do it this way.
We should. Okay, that's great. Yeah, because you're gonna reorganize them.
I don't know what. Reroll lowest. Drop the lowest.
Just drop it.
13.
Oh, and while you talk about that, sorry, this is There's no way for you to do this while I also talk, is there? I was just gonna say is that you reminded me. You were talking about not wanting to play Magic casters in old D&D.
Well, that was personal. Yeah.
Yeah, but Matt Colville had a whole thing where he talked about how Gary Gygax. It was a huge fight internally to create the magic missile spell.
Oh, really? Why?
Because Gygax hated magic users.
Really?
He didn't understand why anybody would want to play a magic user. He's like, why would you want to play the game that way? And so, like, I forget who it was, but somebody else was like, we need to have a magic missile in here. Otherwise, this guy just is, like, useless.
It's like nothing going on. Yo, I'm rolling like a boss. 13, 12, 15, 14.
I think I'm being informed that knickers are exclusively for ladies.
Gotcha. Is it like ladies' pants?
Or
is it like a pants suit?
cast members of Monty Python.
Listen, I tried sitting down and watching that with my wife for the second time. I think we actually made it through.
A movie or the show?
Yeah, no, Monty Python Holy Grail. I'm sorry.
Grail, okay.
Because it's been a personal quest of mine, and I've always been afraid that she wasn't going to like it because it's a personal favorite of mine.
Okay.
So we avoided for a long time. Like, yeah, like we'll watch that eventually.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but we finally sat down and did it. And thankfully, it was acceptable, which I feel like, okay. Like, I can take.
Ooh, that's a good one.
15?
Mm-hmm. Wait
1,
just
2, 3, 4, 5. One more.
Yep.
Pull it out. Oh.
Oh, another 17. Nice. Nicely done, man.
All right.
I was worried at first because you had a couple of really low rolls up front there. So what did we like? 13?
I got 13, 12, 15, 14, 17, and 17.
That's a really stacked character. Okay.
It's pretty sweet. Sure you want that?
Yeah. No, that's fine. I think Colville has a rule that if you don't have something over 15, he makes you re-roll the whole block.
Re-roll it?
Yeah, the whole block.
Really?
Yeah, if you don't have one stat above 15, just re-roll everything.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously there's a 17 deck. I mean, gotta be quick on the. All right.
So the one
thing. I'm sorry.
No. I'm just thinking about this. One thing I'm noticing is like we have the D&D Beyond overlay, which is really cool for people who are watching on Twitch, but there's no way to bake that into the stream for like VOD. Like there's no way to put that into the stream permanently so that like when we go over to YouTube, man, this is a really extremely gutty looking view. This is not that good. We need a higher table. We need a much higher table, guys. We need something here.
Just gotta sit up a little straighter.
Just gotta lose a ton of fucking weight is what I gotta do.
Alright, so we got our 17 in Dex.
And he playing a human?
Yeah, I'm gonna play straight up human.
Cool.
Wait, so how do you want to do that? You want to do just a straight up +1 to everything?
You can pick. That's player's choice.
Yeah.
I would always take feats because that's more fun, but I think go with feats, actually. Let's just make that a rule. Okay. We're using variant human because I think the +1 to everything is boring.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, that would give me.
Colville, I'm being corrected, Colville demands 2 15 or better scores. Ooh. Yeah. I missed the day of AD&D.
You rolled your stats first?
Where there were thresholds. Like, oh, you can't play a paladin. You don't have a high enough charisma. You don't have the stats for it. You can't do it. Like, where you rolled stats and then found out who is this person.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fun, but...
All right, I'm going to put my 15 in strength. I want to make him like a big burly dude. Well, maybe I should put that...
That could be vanity muscles. Just like totally useless.
No, you said that and I instantly went to like this spray. Like the, what was down on the seaside boardwalk. Yeah. You know how they do the airbrush? They do the airbrush tattoos?
They do?
Yeah, they do, like kids.
I've been to Seaside in many years.
Oh my God, the place. Seaside. But, I mean, when you go to the boardwalk, they do, like, the little spray-on tattoos.
Okay.
Like, there was one dude that was...
Do muscles?
He would do, like, a six-pack. Like, on his beer cut. Yeah. That's what we'll do. No, that would be... I'm going to put the 15 in Constitution. Like, it'd be Fortitude then. And...
New table. Let's get Wormwood on the phone. I would love to. Actually, what we have is a 55-inch TV or 50-inch TV that we're going to use for our battle mat.
Yeah.
I haven't decided if I'm going to set it up like horizontal. That's what was when you came in. It was sitting there in the entryway. I haven't decided if I want to put it horizontally. It would be probably best to just like literally stick legs underneath it and make it horizontal rather than have everybody look down at it rather than have it off camera. sort of sideways or something. I don't know. We'll think about that.
Oh man! All right.
Something to be said for doing your stats in order. Go super hardcore and do 3d6 in order. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, but we didn't do that. I didn't constrain anybody else that way.
3d6 in order. What do you mean?
Like literally just like, what's my strength?
Oh,
3d6.
yeah.
That's the other. Cat Coville is like pretty adamant about that too, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, that's old school. Like you'd roll your stats first, and then based on your stats, you'd pick whether or not you're going to be, the fighter, the dwarf, or the elf.
Yeah.
The gnome.
I was watching a while ago. I was watching his Running the Game session series because like I hadn't played a game in forever, run a game in forever, and I was like, man, I'm going to do this on camera. I better not fuck up. So I want to like see what this master has to say. There was one thing that was about the history, and he's like talking about whether or not you should use a DM screen. And he says, a lot of people think that the DM screen was like an advent, and that a lot of old school players eschew the screen. They say put the dice out in front so people can see it. I prefer to roll combat dice where people can see. There are a few dice rolls you have to keep secret, but he says, the way that Gygax and his crew wanted the game to be played originally involved a full body screen.
Body screen?
Literally like a room divider.
Yeah.
With the dungeon master behind it, invisible.
Yeah.
Disembodied, making all dice rolls.
Yeah.
So the players sat around a table and described their actions, and the dungeon master from some other room as a disembodied voice would be, "You missed. That didn't work." So that like you would be fully immersed and you were unaware of the DM.
Of like what was happening.
Like literally a full body screen.
I couldn't imagine.
I think it's just an amazing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like, I'm glad that never.
That didn't catch on.
I'm glad that they didn't catch on.
Yeah. For real.
Okay, we got a 14 in strength, 17 dex, Constitution 15, Intelligence 12, Wisdom 17, Charisma 13.
Oh wow. So he's a tavern philosopher.
Apparently.
That's very cool.
Well, wisdom is an important stat for
you, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the 2. I don't know how much it's going to come into play.
No, I love
specifically on that scale, but get there when we cross
the last
bridge.
D&D character I personally played was actually a barbarian.
Yeah.
Whose core stat was wisdom.
That is surprising.
Wisdom barbarian.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. Because he's from a barbarous tribe.
Yeah.
He was literally a barbarian.
Yeah.
He was a wise one.
He was like the wise chieftain, like to be.
He was. I took the background folk hero, so he had led a small political revolution.
Yeah.
But he was a barbarian. But like he was a barbarian, so he like walked and I was playing He-Man.
Yeah.
So he walked around like in a loincloth, just like regularly spent time oiling himself to just look ridiculous, but like would like drop huge nuggets of wisdom and stuff and just be like, well, I think what we should do is we should organize like the local proletariat.
Dude, I love stuff like that. That's like some of my favorite stuff. Because a lot of people, I feel like you get into the RP and people expect certain things, like a bard, for example. Yeah. People expect you to be singing songs and playing the instrument like while you're casting your spells and doing all that. But I like the idea of like multi-classing, for example. Like if you take a bard who's young, trying to go to bard school, he starts off like as a rogue, like trying to like work the streets to get the money to go to bard school. Second level, like he gets his first level of bard. Yeah. But like he's struggling with it, so you give him like a real like crummy performance. Yeah. Like like real low on the stats. So it turns more into like he starts playing and he's like really bad, and like people start to boom off the stage and they're shoving him out. While he's like pickpocketing, like they're shoving him out and like he's pickpocketing and like stuff like that, or like he's in jail, and he's like trying to appeal to the guards, but they're just like, I'm not.
Or he couldn't hack it as a bard, and he becomes a teacher.
Exactly. He just keeps going down the road.
He goes back to bard school. He's like, I'll take an adjunct position.
Like a barbarian that's just like not into it anymore and wants to like take up poetry. Thus, he takes like a level in bard. If you want to hear like a barbarian isn't really a bad class to play.
No, I don't think it is. I would say too though that like a barbarian who's interested in poetry, committing to a level of player classdom over that is that's a big commitment.
It's a stretch.
Yeah, I would say that
you can imagine. It's
cool.
You can picture like the fun that you could have with it. Like
if
you're in the
right a skald.
Group, like if you're in the right group of people that lets you just be silly and like fun with it, and the DM lets you roll with it. Really enjoy yourself. Just go.
Yes, certainly. I'm not writing anything that is intentionally humorous in this game, but I also like. I don't think that needs any help. You know what I mean? Like that's at the table. Yeah, exactly.
I feel
I'm not writing a silly game, but I know that like that's in there. It's fine. But not worried about that.
Yeah, but even if you are playing like a serious, if you're going for more of like a serious tone to your game, it really just comes down to playing into that. The characters playing into that, and the DM giving them like the credit, giving the players the ability to go through with this stuff because it makes it interesting for everybody that's involved.
One of the things I think that like just film and stuff misses in drama is that people always say like, it's a movie about the worst day in somebody's life, but like most people deal with the worst days of their life through humor.
Yeah.
So like, why is this fucking movie so serious?
Yeah.
That's like I think that it betrays the like reality of character. Anyway.
All right, are we doing level 2?
People are pointing out we're never going to get this character. We're going to get done, sons of bitches.
We're going like
you bastards.
We're doing this. Okay,
yeah, make it to level 2.
Here we go. So we're going level 2.
Proficiency bonus 2.
Proficiency bonus
the martial arts of 1d4.
Hold on, I'm going to write that down.
Key bonus of 2.
4.
Unarmored movement of 10 feet. Or plus 10 feet, sorry.
I'm going to write keys. Two. 4. Okay. So do you want me to roll hit points too? What do you want to do with level 1? Do you want to go max on level 1?
Max on level 1, roll for 2.
Roll for 2.
And then features at this point, you have unarmored defense, martial arts, key, and unarmored move. Unarmored movement is pretty wild, so you just get bonus movements, huh?
What was it? Unarmored defense. Hold on, I'm looking at patient defense. You're wearing no armor. Yeah, unarmored defense, beginning at level 1. While you are wearing no armor, not wielding a shield, your AC equals 10 plus your dex modifier, plus your wisdom. That's cool. Yeah. So 10, well, I literally just forgot. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, armor class. And then a nice 16, plus 3. You don't add anything to that, correct? No DM house rules for initiative? No. Cool. Alright, let's do, so we start off...
Is that a common thing to house rule?
I played in a game of the group. If you were a dex-based fighter, or if you were a dex-based character, like you can add dex, add your dex to your initiative plus your proficiency. Just extra hit. This is like, whatever. Okay. HP, big fat 3. 11, 13, 14, 15. Starting off with 15 E. 13, 14, 15. Okay.
I think you picked 2 feats too, right?
Yes. No, wait, isn't it just 1?
A human. I think it's 2. I'm gonna double check. You work on that. I'll figure this out.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Instead, Variant Human is 2 ability scores of your choice increased by 1, and you gain proficiency in 1 skill and 1 feat. We're at level 2 right now. I was answering the room. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm sorry. Say that again.
You get to pick 2 scores to increase by 1. You get to pick 1 feat, and you get to pick 1 skill of your choice to be proficient in. Nice.
I feel like that's the one thing 5th edition really doesn't fluctuate all that much, like your skills.
You're talking about like compared to like 3.5 or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, compared to 3.5, I mean,
you have to spend points.
Yeah, you have to spend points like every level. It's like here, it's like doesn't go much of anything.
But I think that they came up with a system where it reduces it into the numbers that matter, whereas in 3.5, like adding 1 point to something really didn't make a big difference in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Just being able to add it.
Yeah, I liked it from like a player standpoint. It felt satisfying.
Yeah, like you were doing something.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to erase something and add to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Saving throws, strength, and dex. Skills. Choose 2 from acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. I feel like as like a big dude, acrobatics would be out of it.
What were your options again?
The acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, stealth are the basics.
Okay.
I think we're gonna go.
Any of those would work as far as I'm concerned.
I'm gonna go with athletics.
Okay.
Considering like he's gonna be a bigger,
Sure.
do less like.
Yes.
And then I'm on the fence about.
When do you pick a path? Because we may end
I
up
think
just
it's level.
we could just develop
4.
a path for your character.
Level 3, Masonic tradition.
Okay, so
Yeah, but if you look
gonna-
at the open hands,
It's really close.
yeah, I mean it's super close, and it's easy to flavor it, a more specific way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the open hand technique, starting when you choose the tradition at 3rd level, you can manipulate your enemy's key when you harness your own. Whenever you hit a creature with one of the attacks granted by your flurry of blows, you can impose one of the following effects to this target. It must succeed on a dexterity saving throw to be knocked prone. It must make a strength saving throw. If it fails, you can push it up to 15 feet away, or it can't take reactions until the end of your next turn. Again, I mean, just tripping somebody,
Yeah.
like a lot of this can just be flavored.
Yeah,
to
that's
look
true. That's
differently
true.
than some sort of sonic blast. Even wholeness of body, it's just like
Just am.
he just reaches in, like pulls out a poultice that
Oh,
his
okay.
mom, his grandma taught him how to make, and like he's able to
That could be.
cover it up. If you want to do it that way, I mean,
We
if you want
could.
to come up with your own deal, we can talk about it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We don't have to answer these questions today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Skill. Oh yeah, where was I?
You have to choose a background, right?
So I'm on the fence between taking history or insight
For the skill.
for the skill. So I feel like history would play into like the whole sailor knowledge of the world, hearing stories and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
then insight, just being able to, keep a keen eye out for things.
He's savvy.
Yeah. I think I might just go with insight.
It's gonna be easy. Yeah, it's certainly gonna be much more flexible. Whereas, like from a story standpoint, I have to be like, well, what history? Why would you know world history?
Yeah. Well, it's not so much world history.
Like,
It's
you
just
ain't
like,
know-
oh, like I've heard about that guy.
Right,
It's
okay.
like, oh yeah, like I've heard about that place, and like I've been there before. That. Insight. I'm just gonna go with insight. Useful. The way like I plan on playing him. Quiet, close to the chest, more like has his eyes open.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And as far as equipment, like obviously we're not going with any equipment, right?
You've none.
Yeah, got nothing.
The party has some equipment because there were malls
Yeah.
that they were using. That there was
I feel like,
there were trustees in the group that were not on the chain that they had to kind of overpower, and they had mauls that they used for breaking big chunks of rock.
getting themselves.
And then the party had the actual workers on the chain had small like copper spikes that they
Yeah.
were using for like
Like a pick
clawing.
almost?
Yeah, but like without a handle.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So, yeah, let's start talking about feats.
Yeah, what page is that on? It's right here.
Hold on. Oh, let's do actually before we do that, let's do the background.
Yeah, backgrounds.
I feel like that might play.
I was just
into-
looking at that.
Oh, duh! I'm an idiot.
What'd you do?
So with the sailor background, you automatically you get athletics.
Okay.
And I also let's do.
Where the heck are the backgrounds? You're just gonna take the sailor background?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the sailor background. So I feel like that'll play in.
It certainly sounds good.
Playing well. Athletics.
Frozen Noble.
So it's there too. They get athletics and perception.
I don't see Sailor.
The players? Yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah. You get athletics and proficiency. Perception. Start with Navigator's tools. Oh, you're proficient with navigating tools and vehicles. Okay. Equipment, a belaying pin. You're not going to have that.
No.
Well, you may have a lucky charm.
Like a goblin's thumb around my neck or something.
Feature, ship's passage. When you need to, you can secure free passage on a sailing ship for yourself and your adventuring companion. Might sail on the ship served on. How does that...
I'm gonna make a sailor. You're gonna put us in the middle of the desert, aren't you?
I showed you the map, didn't I? You kind of are in the middle of the desert.
I mean, it makes sense.
Sailing is an important... Yeah. It is, but it isn't. Well, yeah. It's okay. I just don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna come up that often. I'm just gonna say that.
I'm just not opposed to it because I feel like his goal is going to he's gonna be missing the water. You know, like he's very downtrodden about that.
Rivers.
Yeah.
What's the characters? D8 for a personality trait.
Do you want me to roll for this?
No, if you don't want it. I don't know why.
I feel like going in and picking them might be.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that I don't know.
I mean, it's still flavor, really.
Yeah, I was saying also like you don't need to necessarily pick from this. Use these.
Because what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to build him a background separately from the personality traits, ideas, flaws, and stuff like that.
Just take the hard rules and over. Variant feature, bad rep. Character has a sailor recommendation background feature instead of ship's pass. No matter where you go.
For the variant pirate.
It just says if your character has a sailor background, you may select this instead of ship's passage.
Yeah.
And the bad rep one, no matter where you go, people are afraid of you due to your reputation. When you are in a civilized settlement, you can get away with minor criminal offenses such as refusing to pay for food at a tavern or breaking down doors at the local shop, since most people will not report your activity to the authorities because of your bad reputation. Okay.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah. You'd have to have a tattoo or something that indicates you as like a member of some tribe or crew or something that was fearsome.
Oh man, you could have so much fun with that too.
It's my bad reputation.
Like trying to hide it, or like you got branded.
Yeah.
You got brand.
Oh yeah.
That. Like you have to really try to keep it under wraps when you're around the fuzz.
The fuzz.
The fuzz.
Yeah, I'm taking a very. I'm trying to stay historically. I don't know how much fuzz there is. Like historically,
the good guys.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like historically, police is a very modern idea.
Yeah. All right.
It's one of the things that, I don't know. You'll see. It'll be fine. It'll be great. This is all gonna be great.
I feel like the concept of like you were saying before, like Conan. You know, just the idea of like the almost like tribal mentality more so than like the communal mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So going from like town to town or village, whatever it might be.
Yep.
And just like the overall chaos that you can get into.
Yes.
Or the chaos that you might have to get yourself out of.
Yes.
Like it's gonna be very interesting to see how you're gonna break all that down.
Mike, that D&D game where I was a barbarian, Mike he was running that Link, guy we know for camera, a good friend, but he wanted to convey how the wilderness and being away from civilization was like how abnormal it was to get from one place, like to be in between places, and how jarring reality would be from ones that like it was people were much more bifurcated because there wasn't rapid communication. So like
alien like.
Well, basically like we were traveling from one place to another and the entire time was just like weird stream of consciousness acid trip. But like that's what reality is. Like that's how your characters are perceiving reality between cities, is just like in a dream reality that doesn't make any sense.
Wild.
Yeah.
Right. So right off the bat, I mean, Grappler might be a good one to take as far as feats go.
Sorry, what page do feats begin on? I'm looking at
page
Pick one.
167.
Yeah, I got them. 5. Athlete
Mm-hmm.
certainly makes sense from character. Increase strength or dex by 1. Actor.
Man.
A lot of great options here.
Yeah. I also
Alert,
like that they kind of
plus 5 to initiative.
I also like that they kind of toned down the feats a little bit because I feel like in 3.5 it got way out of control. You know, the amount of feats and like subclasses and stuff that they had to offer.
I should say too that I don't have a copy here, but we are using Xanthar's Guide to Everything. Pull that up on the digital copy, but I don't have a paper copy. I think one of the other players is pulling from Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Great book.
Oh, there is a Way of the Drunken Master in there too,
yes.
which might actually be better for you.
You know, I was looking at it. I wasn't too into the whole subclass for this.
Okay.
I felt like the straight out of the book sense.
Special rule for tying knots. Better read that, Sailor Boy. I'm assuming that there are feats here, racial feats.
Mm.
Third campaign. Character name. Credits. Downtime activities. Buying a magic item. Carousing. Crafting an item. Crime.
Carousing?
Gambling. Yeah. Pit fighting. Relaxation. Religious service. Research. Scribing a spell scroll. Selling a magic item. Trading. Work. Dr. Brule, who's about broats.
Dr. Who?
Dr. Brule.
Dr. Brule.
Oh, he likes to eat shrimp and ride around on broats.
Okay.
You don't know Dr. Brule?
No.
He likes to eat shrimp out of garbage, out of dumpsters.
Okay.
It's okay.
Is this a real person?
Not really. Yeah, he's played by John C. Reilly on Adult Swim. Dr. Brule. Shush and sandwiches, yeah. I gotta get a broat.
Oh, dude, Tavern Brawler. Why didn't I think of this?
What's a Kensai? The Way of the Kensai. Somebody's saying that the Way of the Kensai might be interesting as well. Way of the Sun Soul. He's like, not.
I felt like the Kensai was more like weapons based. That was
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Way of the Drunken Man. You keep looking at the feats. I'm doing some other.
Increase your strength. Tavern Brawler. Increase your strength constitution by 1. Mission with improvised weapons. Strength is 4 for damage. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike or an improved weapon on your improvised weapon on your turn, bonus action. Grapple the target.
Everybody wants you to look at Tavern Brawler. They're saying this is super important
Tavern Brawler?
for the character that you're describing.
Oh, you're talking about for the
as a feat.
Yeah.
Accustomed to rough and tumble fighting, using whatever weapons are at hand, you gain the following benefits. Increase strength or con by 1 to max 20. You are proficient with improvised weapons and unarmed strikes. Seems like a waste, because I feel like you've already got that.
Oh, yeah, I got the D4.
Unarmed strike uses a D4 for damage, which it does. And when you hit a creature with an unarmed strike or an improvised weapon on your turn, you can use a bonus action to attempt to grapple.
Monks aren't. What does it say? Improvised weapons? You're proficient with improvised?
Yeah.
Simple weapons, sure. Yeah, so that would be a benefit. Grab anything.
It's always nice. I mean, but I think you get the stat bonus. The unarmed strike thing is wasted on you. Yeah. You're not going to go to a D8, for example.
No.
Or 2D4. Even worse. Knots. Tying knots. They wrote a whole section of rules for tying knots.
Trust me, it's come up before.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, yeah.
I also like when you hit a creature with an unarmed strike or an improvised weapon on your turn, you can use a bonus action to attempt to grapple the target. Pretty intense.
Yeah, so you can hit and grab at the same time.
So
that is pretty wild.
Smashing them in the face with a pan or
People
something.
are saying that grappling sucks in 5th edition. Well, we'll fix that, Victor. I don't know why.
But it was just a strength, contested strength test.
That would be my assumption. Honestly, I don't know off the top of my head. I'll look them up. I'm curious with the grappling rules. You keep working.
I'm going to put that on the notes there. The only other one I was looking at,
I'm not seeing any
grappler, but I mean that's kind of
here. Sunlight.
so. I definitely have it down between the grappler and the tavern brawler.
Grappler and tavern brawler.
Yeah,
How
because
does
the
grappler
grappler
work?
just gives you advantage when you're on attack rolls against a creature you are grappling. You can use your action to try to pin the creature.
So if you have them in a
grapple
grapple, you now get advantage on attack rolls against them.
Yes.
I mean, you get options to pick up other feats. Combining the two would be
Your
wild.
action to try to pin the grapple value. So make another grapple check. Speed, when the creature are both restrained, grapple in. That's just like a those takes.
Grappling.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the crew over there.
Uh-oh.
Tavern brawler.
it is.
Tavern brawl. I mean, I did say I was gonna make him a tavern brawler, so
You
I
kind
feel
of-
like I
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
on myself.
Kind of, yes.
All right, okay.
There's some Victor saying you gotta take grapple feat to make grappling worthwhile. So when you
Yeah.
want to grab or grapple or wrestle a creature, you can use an attack action to make a special melee attack, a grapple. If you're able to make multiple attacks with the attack action, this action replaces one of them. So what's kind of crazy about the Tavern Brawler, though, is that basically all of your attacks can also be free grapples, which is fucking wild.
Yeah.
The target of your grapple must be no more than one size larger than you, and it must be within your reach. Using at least one free hand, you try to seize the target by making a grapple check using strength with athletics check based on the target's strength athletics, or dexterity acrobatics check. The target chooses the ability for themselves to use. If you succeed, you subject the target to a grappled condition. The Appendix A. The condition specifies the things that end it, and you can release the target whenever you like. Escaping a grappled creature can use its action to escape. To do so, it must succeed on a strength, athletics, or dexterity check contested by your strength athletics check. When you move, you can drag or carry the grappled creature with you, but your speed is halved unless the creature is 2 or more sizes smaller than you. For the purposes of being a monk, I'm going to say that when you have somebody in a grapple, you are not unarmed.
No.
So you won't get your unarmed movement bonus. Isn't that a class feature for you? You have like some like plus 10, plus 30 feet for
just
unarmed, or is that unarmored? You have a movement
You're
bonus.
talking unarmored movement.
Is it unarmored or is it
Yeah.
unarmed?
Unarmored movement. Starting at second level, your speed increases by 10 while you are not wearing armor or wielding a shield. This bonus increases when you reach certain monk levels. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm pretty sure that carrying a person counts as wielding a shield.
No, it's the weight.
Person is heavier than a shield.
So, I feel like it comes down to the weight distribution. Like, I know it's like your strength because your character can carry like a certain amount unimpeded.
Yeah.
All right, when it carries over that amount, it's like half movement. We're
Right.
considered like difficult terrain or like how.
Oh, I see what you're saying. We would just
wants to break it down.
Okay, that's fair too. We can
So it's
just
like you're
do that.
lumbering along with this giant thing on your back. But if you're carrying like, a gnome, or if you're the 6-foot burly dude carrying like a little squire around,
Well, I'm thinking
it's not as
you're not going to
impeding.
carry somebody in a grapple move either. You're
No,
going to put them
yeah.
you're going to have them arm behind their back and be pushing them around. So
Yeah. I feel like it's more.
we'll worry about this later.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that like that you may not get all of your movement
I feel like
bonuses.
there's a lot more like DM rules, like the way you want to spin it when
Yes.
it comes to stuff like that,
Yeah.
than actual hard rules. I mean, I'm sure there are hard rules about it, but
And where's that Appendix A? Grapple.
grapple. Okay. So we're definitely going with Tavern Brawler. We have the skills, athletics, history, insight, perception. Which I feel like is right in line with Calrick's overall vibe. Being on the ships, being very perceptive.
Yes.
Weather, like things, other ships coming.
Yeah.
And not only that, but being like in the, port, being in port,
Yeah.
and like knowing that like it's a little.
Well, a sailor would have to be comfortable going to foreign lands where they don't speak the
Exactly.
language and where nobody's going to stick up for them
Yeah.
And being, safe.
Even in areas that they're not welcomed exactly.
Exactly.
So being able to keep an eye open for stuff like that, which is why I feel like insight and perception would be most beneficial, or it would fall in line very well.
Conditions, worst conditions.
And like I said with history, I feel like, you get around a lot, so you might have a lot more knowledge about the world than
that makes sense.
Like your average person.
Both work. Take your pick. 275, 85, 289, 290. Okay, grappled. A grappled creature's speed becomes 0, and it can't benefit from any bonus to its speed. The condition ends if the grappler is incapacitated. The condition also ends if an effect removes the grappled creature from the reach of the grappler, which is when a creature is hurled by thunderwave. Okay, so a grappled creature can still attack. It's not like you lock them up and prevent somebody from attacking. Okay.
Oh man, I'm getting visions of like The Walking Dead when
never watched that show.
Oh man, when Rick was all restrained, when they had his son down on the ground, like they had him in like a big bear hug, and he just goes in and bites him right on the neck, and just like pulls like the guy's neck. It's like a zombie.
Yeah.
He became the zombie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I guess there you go. Bite somebody's ear off.
That's true.
Right?
Or elbow them, or there's a bunch of different ways that grappling works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Victor has a lot of grappling information. FYI, grappler allows you to pin them. You both become restrained. Restrained. Oh, when you pin somebody, you're restrained, and a restrained creature's speed becomes 0. Can't benefit from any bonuses. Attack rolls against a creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. The creature has disadvantage. 30 saving throws as well. So you can turn a grapple into a restraint. Okay, that's fun. Grappling is cool.
I like that.
I don't think it's terrible.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that like
because
some of those things they're written to work in a very specific way mechanically, and the playtesters figured out a reason why. And a lot of times you make an assumption. I know we certainly used to make an assumption about how we think that would work. And then we accidentally created a rule that's like wildly overpowered. So it's grappling is just one of those places where I'm going to be very careful about how the game decides to handle that.
Yeah. So normally, like when you reach like 4th level with the monk, you get the ability score improved. So sometimes, I don't know if it's in the book or not, but you can either take that or a feat.
Right.
So if you're sticking with that, I might save Grappler for
I see.
level.
Take Tavern Brawler
Take
and
Tavern
then
Brawler
take
now
that.
because it makes more sense.
Sure, you can definitely take a feat instead.
But Grappler, like once he gets involved with a lot more skirmishes, a little bit, a couple more fights, maybe that'll take that 4th level. Considering my stats are pretty smoking already.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, so I mean, other than that.
So Vendel 13, the Tavern Brawler feat that he's taking, when he has grappled somebody, he has advantage to attack on that person, which means you roll attack twice and take the higher. Yeah. So that's huge.
Yeah.
Anytime you can have advantage is huge.
And plus, I like the idea of the improvised weapon. Being able to just pick up a bottle and use it as an actual weapon.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily. I feel like it doesn't necessarily play all that much into the monk. Mechanically into the monk.
I don't think it does.
It's already a D4.
Oh.
Striking somebody unarmed.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a table leg is a club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's much better than a D4.
Yeah. And having being proficient with stuff like that, because you can make it. I think. You could also make it however you want too. You want to say like the table leg is a club.
Yeah.
You can decide whether or not like a shard of glass is a dagger.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Stuff like that.
Well, we might have done that, except for the fact
like
that now we've taken somebody who has this improvised weapon feat.
Yeah.
So it changes things because I don't want to minimize the utility of your feat, which is fine. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that. I mean, certainly, if you're going to go open-handed for the duration of your character, that's fine. I mean, you don't have to make that decision. If you were to go to Kensai, you'd be highly weapony, right?
I think the Kensai train with specific weapons. Like trained in the
Jackie Chan as a pro wrestler on shore leave. A seafaring monk with grappling bone. Says Evan Bell. Like that. That's pretty good. Sorry, I totally ignored you. Say it again.
What I was saying is like, I think the Kensai is more in line with you practice with specific weapon. Like you spend your life like you in this weapon, specific weapon is like an extension of you.
Yeah.
Whether or not I feel like a Kensai is when you get into like more of the exotic weapons. You know, like the like that razor chain. I forget what it's like really called.
Sounds like something made up, but I don't think razor chain is a real weapon.
Man, now I'm gonna look it up. I don't know if it's in this book or not.
I mean, I think it's in this book. I'm saying I don't think that's a real world weapon.
No, it's not a real world
The razor
weapon.
chain.
No.
An expert of razor chain. So have you leveled up your character? Is this character complete?
Yes, I think we're good to go.
Let me read them out.
Oh wait, I gotta put
your hit points. Did you roll that?
My speed would be 30, 40. I'll take that.
Yes, I'm taking your character. So, strength 14, dexterity 17, constitution 15, intelligence 12, wisdom 17, charisma 13, no minuses. Guy is in good shape. He has a proficiency bonus of 2. He has athletics, history, insight, and perception, and a set of navigator's tools. Apparently.
Well, he's just proficient with it.
Oh, he's proficient with navigator's tools.
Considering
that'd be weird to hide.
Enslaved.
Unarmed, 1d4 plus 3, which is ridiculous. How did they kept him in that mine? I do not know. Armor class 16, initiative plus 3, hit points is 15, 2 key points, martial arts of 1d4, and tavern brawler. What can you do with your key points at your current level, at level 2? I'm not super...
Yeah, so as far as... Before we get into that, EDC. Oh yes, okay. So you get 3. There's 3 different things that you can do with it. You got flurry of blows, which is obviously attacks. 2 unarmed attacks per key point. You spend 1, so like you can make your unarmed attack, spend a key point to make an additional 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is literally a flurry of blows.
Yeah.
The patient defense, which you can take the dodge action as a bonus action, which is great because then you can make your attack, because the dodge action itself is an actual full action.
Yes.
Right? So as a bonus action, like you'll be able to make your attack and then take your dodge. So it's like, going in, like giving them 1-2 and then kind of backing off and like looking for like the evasion, more or less. And then step of the wind. You can just disengage or dash as a bonus action on your turn, and your jump distance is doubled for the turn. So don't make the pit traps extra long.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Big
pits.
Yeah.
Big pit traps.
So that's a 3, yeah.
Oh, very cool. Slow fall, ability to score, improve. Like missile.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm most excited for. Like missiles.
Yes.
Being able to like actually just catch an arrow and immediately like toss it back. I'm looking forward to like using that.
Oh yeah.
Make that happen for me.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I don't know about like there'll definitely be archers, certainly skirmishers with slings, and
We're gonna wait a couple levels. Next level.
Atletl, the spear thrower.
Yeah.
That thing? It's like a lever that it's an atletl that you attach to a
What is
spear.
that? That's on gold. No.
I don't know. I honestly don't know
Or is
I don't know where
South
they really came
America?
from, but apparently they work.
I don't know this thing. I know what you mean. It's like that long pole. It's got the almost like a smaller version of a javelin or a spear.
Yeah.
Under it, and you just take the bottom, you fling it, and the whole thing just comes up and off.
Yeah, like
It
hinges
launches
off.
up.
Exactly.
Yeah, we should have researched this, so we have all the answers.
I have all the answers forever, always. Just memorize every book. They wrote them down so you don't have to memorize them. Yeah, I thought it maybe originated in Africa too, bear bashkin.
Africa, that makes because I mean it's a very tribal kind of.
Well, I think it's actually. I think about no, actually, I think it's a weapon that was used in massed, ranked groups.
No, but I think that it's like origin. I feel like it's a little bit more tribal than not. Just like the bow and arrow.
I have no idea. I think that it was used by like Ethiopian Empire and the what's his name? We gotta burn Carthage to the ground. Carthage, the Carthaginians. I think.
Little history lesson.
Someone here is referring to it as an Ikiwa or Yikiwa. I don't know what that is. That might be another name.
It's just something for us to Google later.
We will Google the Googling.
So
your character's done.
I think this is pretty much good to go.
We can enter him into D&D Beyond later. It's a bit boring to.
And I want to keep a lot of the personality traits, ideas, bonds, and flaws. Like I'll keep that blank because I'll write up a backstory for him. But I like to keep the backstories a little bit more open ended. So
I'm not even sure if the other players took flaws and stuff yet, to be honest, because I feel like first if I go to like Alith, he'd be the one who would finished that. I'm gonna check. Equation. Where would flaws even be on this character?
Personality traits. I just feel like it's a good opportunity for you as the DM to work your own story into it, or work.
Oh yeah, of course.
Into the story.
Mm-hmm. No strike bonus actions. Notes. Backstory. She hasn't taken a backstory. Extras. Yeah, I think that. Oh no, personality traits are there. Bonds, my tribe, flaws, unlocking an ancient mystery is worth the price. Civilization. Ideals, acceptance. I don't know what any of that stuff means. Like, what does that mean? How does that as a flaw mechanically? Unlocking an ancient mystery is worth the price of a civilization.
I think it's more or less like you'll sacrifice the community and finding the.
I feel like if you're gonna put it on your character, this is my thing with that though. If you're gonna put it on your character sheet like that, it should be a mechanical rule. Yeah. You know, otherwise it's just like that's a role playing note.
Yeah, that's all they are. That's all the backgrounds really are.
Okay.
It's just like more.
They're not like clan flaws from Vampire the Masquerade. You know.
No.
It's like I saw a mirror, now I'm stuck looking at it forever. Because I'm just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. These are more just for flavor. Like, so you have a basic idea of how your character will react in situations. Like, I think one of them was you'll never turn down a wager. So, like, if the DM throws a wager at you, like, you're more inclined to take it than you are not. I feel like a lot of people tend to lose track of stuff like that. And I think it's just a way for them to streamline it a little bit. Make it right there on the page. So go back to it real quick and be like, oh yeah, this is how my character would react to that, rather than me personally, how I'd react.
Right. To yeah, it's just like a role-playing reminder. And to the answer of is the hierarchical, it's exactly like those things to throw tennis balls to your dog. The atlatl. I can't pronounce that. Okay, well that's cool. I thought they were more mechanical, but if they're not mechanical, then you can figure out who your character is. I trust you to do that.
Again, that's up to you. Like I think it was.
No, it's up to you.
I think it's the apocalypse world, where they do the bonds, where you have like your characters and. I
don't know the setting.
Yeah, apocalypse world is the D6. We can talk about that.
It's a rule set.
Yeah, it's a rule set. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool.
Was it built on Fate or is it its own core mechanic?
Fate is like those individual dice.
I have a Fate book.
Is Fate the one that's superhero based? No.
Now, Fate Core is a narrative role-playing mechanic that is kind of adaptable. Basically, you get the Fate Core book, and then people hack it to be whatever they want.
No, we did Apocalypse World, and it's more D6 based. Like I think it's we roll 2d6, and from this number to this number, it's a failure. From this number it's a mixed success.
That sounds a lot like Fate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like
I'm going off of memory.
This number is a full success, things like that. But they have bonds. Like if you can level up if you obtain your bond. Like if you do something, like one of my bonds could be like repaying said character, repaying like the thief for saving my life.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It's Fate.
Yeah. So like if you do that, if you accomplish that task, like you can bump yourself up.
Right.
Like
no, we could use it as a mechanic for granting inspiration.
Yeah, things like that.
That's true. Cool. Very cool. I hope you make it through the next session.
Me too, man.
We're gonna try and kill everybody.
Calrick.
Calrick
Dippins.
The one guy, Ari Rubin, is playing this guy Trevor, who is a really interesting character. He's a fighter.
The Furbolg?
No.
Furbolg?
No. He's just a character name. He came with Trevor.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
No, he's just a guy named Trevor.
Yeah.
Which that's Ari. He came up with a fancy name, but I just said I'll add another E to Trevor.
Yeah.
Kind of a dick move. But the character is actually interesting because he is like a past middle-aged retired general.
Really?
So but the idea was that he was like a level 5 or 7 fighter.
Yeah.
Who through aging and not practicing has skill regressed back to level 1.
Yeah.
Which I think.
So is he playing level 1 fighter?
Yeah. Well, he's level 2 now, like the rest of the party.
Yeah.
But he's not like doing this for the first time. He's like, oh, that's right. Now I remember how this works. Right. Yes. You stab at this thing.
So he's the guy. He's like old and grizzled. And he's like back in my day.
Well, actually, I think his whole backstory was that he became disillusioned. He doesn't want to. He like goes around like trying desperately to avoid combat. And doesn't want to kill anybody.
Cool, I like that.
Yeah. Like the whole first combat was just him apologizing profusely, just like I'm so sorry.
I didn't mean to do.
No, why are you dying?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a fun little spin on it, is what it is.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody play. Well, I've always thought that like it'd be an interesting game. And somebody was saying that there's rules for that in maybe one of the Call of Cthulhu game settings. Where it'd be interesting to have. Oh God, why can't I think right now? The players, you go up in some stats as you level up, but like other things like take a hit as you get older.
Yeah. Man.
So like experience points, like yes, sure, your skills and wisdom and stuff like that go up, and to a point, your strength and dexterity go up, and then you reach a certain from level 7 on though, like you lose from strength and dexterity and constitution. You start your knees go bad, you know. You have a minus the perception because you need to get glasses now, you know. But like all these things, you just can't do anything with it. Oh.
I feel like in D&D, that's a lot of like 6 months from now, we're moving forward, we're quick pacing it, if you think about it, like most campaigns, like you play like from the books,
right?
It's just like within less than a year,
right?
And the one thing I've never seen anybody do is celebrate their birthday in game.
Yep. Well, I actually have a whole spreadsheet that is the calendar for the year, so we can put everybody's birthday on it.
It's gonna be my birthday on the first game.
That's fine. That's a great idea. It's my birthday.
Today's my birthday, guys.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I like that. We'll take that. Yeah, it's a good point. You never think. Most people don't. I mean, I don't. I've never played a campaign where somebody really paid attention to the calendar that seriously.
Yeah. It's usually one of those like side things that just kind of gets washed out.
It is when I say it is.
Much like encumbrance.
No.
It used to be a huge big thing.
I should talk about that. We're going to be tracking encumbrance. Cool. And if you are arcane casters, like we're not doing spell component bags and focuses. Like you need to have the fucking components.
Yeah.
So like if you're playing a caster, play it, but like go around collecting like weird sand and feathers. Like oh shit, there's some good feathers here. I could use that someday. Like like
that. Yeah. What is he always collecting? Like a bag.
Yeah, exactly.
What's this guy doing? Like, until we find out, because I feel like that's what a lot of this is. Like you don't find out. They're just not like walking around with their
pointy hat and wizard
covered
robes,
with stars and moons, and the pointy wizard's hat and staff.
That character will show up, I'm sure.
I'm sure. But everybody keeps it secret, so they're just like kind of plucking the feathers off the ducks and stuff.
Well, and I wonder how many casters are there in the setting. I don't know. There'll be as many as I make plus the players. But so we'll figure that out.
I'm really interested in seeing where this goes, man. I'm excited about like a low magic kind of setting and
gritty
into this with
survivalist
a Greg
nightmare.
Game, yes.
Grit game, is that what you said?
A Greg game.
A Greg game.
We're in.
I don't know what that means. I feel like I'm being set up for expectations are now too high.
All I'm saying is that I'm excited about it.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Well, we'll be back on. Thank you. I didn't mean to dismiss that. Sometimes I steamroll people.
No, it's all right, man.
I gotta be better about that. My social skills suck.
Listen, I'm the worst at taking compliments. So usually somebody starts to give me a compliment, I'm just like, stop. We're good. Okay, I get it. Yeah, thank you. Moving on. Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. I won't pay you any compliments.
Yeah, don't. It's okay. I know in my heart that I've earned it.
Okay.
Yes. Just a quick little nod.
How do you feel about criticism?
I love criticism.
I can just tell you
Oh
piece
my
of
God.
shit.
Listen, because there's one thing, like criticism is one of my favorites because I feel like it's the rawest and most like honest way to speak to somebody. Like actual like constructive criticism.
okay.
Yes.
The only truth is that's like such a Herzog thing.
Yeah.
The only true statements are negative.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, when you tell somebody like, yeah, that looks great, but it's really complete garbage. Like,
Yeah.
you lied to him. You're
Right,
right.
of
You
course.
lied to him. You know, and like obviously, like sometimes you have to do stuff like that. But to me, like, tell me this is garbage. Like, I want to know if it's garbage, and you know, better.
Make
whatever.
it better, man.
Yeah.
So, just to refresh to the stream, we will be picking up with where our game left off on Monday night, March 16th, which is coming up next Monday. Like Monday, we're streaming live from here with a table and more chairs and stuff, and more cameras as well. There'll be a lot of cameras. Oh, that's weird. What's going on here? Oh, geez. I have totally lost control over the Stream Deck. That's okay. Stream Deck's being a little weenie. So we'll be back to do the actual game next week. I think we will be live at 9 p.m. Eastern time. 9 p.m. Eastern time. I may start the stream before then for just like lobby time and table talk.
Round table.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
the game will start at 9 p.m. Eastern just because
Cool.
we can't go early and surprise people. And we'll have you, we'll have Liz, we'll have Anthony, we'll have the Aries. I don't think they like me rolling them into. There happens to be two guys named Ari in the table, so
The Aries.
they both come in from the city.
Yeah.
So it'll be great, and we'll figure out the tech stuff. I can't believe I forgot to put a 200 millisecond delay on your mic. I got to do that for all the mics. I should just hang the rest of my
This
mics.
was something. I feel like it was a quick, easy fix.
It
you
took
know?
a few minutes.
At least the thing didn't just fall out of the ceiling on me.
No, it's a good
Yeah.
rig too. I think I'll just hang the rest today so that they're up there and I don't have to sweat it. And yeah. All right, guys. Oh
Cool.
man, we're gonna find a better angle. It's a little less pregnant looking. Look at you. I'm looking at you now on this screen, and I mean, you've got first off,
Yeah.
you know, I have about 80 pounds on you, so that's a factor. But I'm
Oh,
gonna
no,
blame
No,
that
I
very
just hide
clever
it well.
black shirt
Yes.
and that
Yeah.
nice tan blazer
I just hide it well. That's
from
all.
France. It's
That's
the
all
French
there is to
wardrobe. God damn French wardrobe. All right,
French
guys.
H&M.
Oh yeah, is that where you got it at H&M?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
funny. So a German store.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, H&M is a German company. You didn't know that?
I didn't know.
Well,
man.
now you know.
Again, we should have done our research.
All right, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in for today's character creation session. What's this guy's name?
Calrick.
Calrick.
Calrick Dippins.
All right,
Don't
well-
call him that.
We'll be meeting Calrick Dippins next week
Yeah.
at the table. See you guys later, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.